Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Terry Bailey. I am the Director of Enrollment Management here at Rothesay Netherwood School. And today we have the pleasure of having a panel of one alumni and one current parent. And we're going to ask some questions and see what kind of wonderful conversation we have today. So if you don't know, Rothesay Netherwood School is a co-educational boarding and day school founded in 1877. And we're in the beautiful and safe town of Rothesay, New Brunswick, which is just east of St. John, the capital city of New Brunswick. We are a small independent school with a big reputation worldwide. In fact, we have an alumni network of more than 5,000 strong, located all over the world. We are an IB, or International Baccalaureate World School, that offers rigorous academics and exceptional experiences to students from all over the world. We have a 125-acre campus, which features 4 Georgian-style residences, a brand new state-of-the-art science building, a chapel where we all gather to start a day together, and a wellness center, just to name a few of the historical and magical places on our campus. It has a wonderful quad university feel, like a New England university. And many people comment when they come to visit or arrive here that it's like Hogwarts, which is very true. And we even have 4 houses students belong to during their time here with us. I'm currently in York House. I am not a student, but I get to be in a house too. Calvin, what house were you in? Do you remember?
I think it was called Tudor, yeah.
Tudor. And Jesse, are you in a house? Do you know? As a boarding parent,
I should know. My Sam's in Mackay, the house. Okay, if there's a different nature of the house, or intramural stuff that I don't know, and he doesn't.
So Mackay is his residence, and these
Right.
houses are inter-houses, so it's slightly different. And I think Sam might be in green, but
Okay.
It's not important at this point.
Okay.
We do have an amazing advisor program as well. And I think that really sets us apart. So every student has a faculty member who is their advisor, and they meet every single day of the time that they're here at RNS. And they really get to know one another. And the advisor really becomes kind of a life coach and academic and social coach, really, for the students during their time here, really helping them move along through the program and take advantage of most of the opportunities that are available to them. So that's a little bit about Rothesay Netherwood School. I'd like to introduce Calvin. Calvin is alumni. He's a graduate of the RNS class of 2016. He attended the University of Ottawa, where he was a merit scholar and on the Dean's List. He was a member of the RNS rowing crew here at RNS during his time, and also rowed for the University of Ottawa. He lives in British Columbia and works as a client support manager for an app producer specializing in digitizing the legal industry. Welcome, Calvin. Do you have anything you'd like to add or words of welcome?
No, yeah, that's pretty good. I'm excited to be here and talk a little bit about my experience at RNS.
Wonderful. And Jesse is a parent of a current student and a incoming student. So Sam is going to graduate this spring. It's very soon. You must be excited. And your other son, John, is going to start in grade 9. It's grade 9, right?
Correct.
And he was visiting here just a couple of weeks ago and had a day-long visit, seeing what it's like here at RNS. And I think he's looking forward to it. So Jesse, as I've just said, is a parent in the RNS community. His son, Sam, is part of the graduating class, and John will be coming to RNS soon. Welcome, Jesse, and thank you for sharing your time and insights from a parent perspective today. Do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, it's a pleasure, and I'm glad to have the opportunity.
All right, let's get started. All the difficult questions for you, the challenging questions. So I'm going to start with Calvin. Calvin, what did you appreciate most about the school during your time here? And how has your perspective on that changed now that you have a distance from the school?
Definitely. For me, I think I would have said when I was still at school, I would have said definitely athletics. and the structure the athletics kind of gives to the students. Being at school from, I think it was 8:30 to 4, and then spending the next hour in the basketball gym or on the soccer field or in the hockey rink. That was kind of something that I really appreciated because it gave us structure and it made us go outside and have some physical activity. But now looking back at it, I think one of the biggest things that I appreciated was the class sizes and the fact that the student and teacher ratio was relatively small, where the focus was really on the students and it wasn't like one student towards 30 kids or one teacher for 30 kids. It was very individualized and the focus was really on the students.
What, to the best of your knowledge, would you say most differentiates RNS from other schools?
I think a lot, or some of the teachers when I was there during my time, they really care about your academic success and your personal success and personal growth, where it's not about getting good grades or achieving on an academic level, but also achieving on a personal level, whether it's on the sports field or it's in your personal relationships or your life at home.
Wonderful. This one's sorry, I lost my place. This one is a bit of a silly question. If the school, I mean, I think it's silly, maybe other people won't. If the school were to be represented as a single person, what would its personality be like? And the challenge is in only 3 words.
I think for me, it would be thoughtful, ambitious, and welcoming. We toured RNS when I was in grade 8, so this must have been 2012. And we actually came, or we did our tour of the campus and the classes during Rugby Fest. And so that was one of the craziest time on campus, but it was really nice to see that everyone was always coming up to us and introducing themselves, and really kind of the campus was very vibrant and everyone was so thoughtful during our visit. And that really showed when we decided to actually go there. And during our first days on campus, when we decided to join RNS, everybody was so welcoming, and they really let us in with open arms, in my opinion.
Just so you know, Rugby Fest is coming up very soon. I think it's next weekend, the 22nd. So if either of you want to hop on down to Rothesay, New Brunswick and participate or watch, I don't think you participate actually, in Rugby Fest, you're more than welcome. It's going to be my first Rugby Fest, so I'm really looking forward to it. Should be a wonderful, wonderful weekend. From
Sam's on the team, so looking forward to seeing them. Right, excited to see it. I haven't been in person, and because we were there a couple of weeks ago, Terry, like I don't think I'll be hopping on, but would love. Okay, love the fact the school does rugby. Think it's a great gentleman's sport, and it'll be good to see videos and clips from Rugby Fest.
Yeah, it has such a reputation. People ask me about it all the time. So moving on to the next question, Calvin. What one thing would you change about the school for the better if you had to choose something?
So I think, speaking from my experience during the time that I was there, this may have changed since I've left, but I think just giving back to the community is a big thing that I would have liked to see more, whether it's participating in park cleanups or feeding people that are experiencing homelessness, and just being more involved in the community, both in Rothesay and in St. John. And then I think the second one is putting more of a focus on scholarships for people with the financial need versus scholarships for athletes that may already have the needs to attend a school like RNS.
You'll be happy to know that we are currently revamping our whole scholarship and bursary program to allow it to be exactly the way you described, more providing more opportunities for more different types of people to study at RNS and have the RNS advantages and opportunities. And we also, so we have, because we have residents, we have a dining hall and full dining facilities. And so each week we have a program of where students and volunteers go into St. John and provide meals for the homeless. So we make them here at RNS. And we do that all year round. And there are lots of other community outreach components that are happening, and students are bringing their interests to the school and really running with the opportunities, or running with ideas, and we provide them opportunities to make those a reality. And with the IB program, there is a service, community service component of that program. So that really hits it home even more. So I hope you're glad to hear that we are working on those things. And I'm really interested in expanding those things as much as I can as well in my role here. So I share your concerns. Calvin, what would families find most surprising about the school?
I think definitely for me is the lifelong bonds that kids make at RNS. I still talk to so many people that we graduated with. I'm here on the East Coast this weekend just for Easter, and we're seeing people that we graduated with, and we're still in contact. So that's always nice to see, and getting those lifelong bonds both in the classroom and into the dorms is something really unique that I think sets RNS apart.
So what advice would you give to students just entering the school?
Yeah, I would say definitely get involved. I think that's one of the biggest things about RNS. There's so many opportunities for athletics and drama and the musical and Round Square, for example. There's so many opportunities to grow as a person and to grow as a leader. So I think once you get there, don't be afraid to, if you come there and you're an athlete, don't be afraid to enter the musical or get involved in community service and grow as a leader and grow as a person.
Thank you so much, Calvin.
Of course.
Now over to Jesse. And on Calvin's last comment about athletes doing musicals, Sam was in the first musical I saw at RNS this year, SpongeBob SquarePants. Did you see that, Jesse?
Yeah. Sam, I think, is more a performer doing athletics than the other way around. Okay, don't tell him that. He's a good athlete, but he's a great performer.
He was very enthusiastic, and that role required somebody with great enthusiasm.
Yeah, and I thought what was terrific about what RNS did was it accommodated the fact that he didn't have to choose between. Obviously, he couldn't do the musical and do a leading role and do soccer. So Calvin, that's what he was doing, right? But he was able to do both at the same time, which really builds on Calvin's point, which is get involved, stretch yourself, right? It's an incredibly good opportunity for kids to do more than one thing at once. Find out where their potential and passions lie.
And it provides kind of a spectator like me so many opportunities to see fun activities that happen here. It amazes me how much happens on campus each day and each week. So Jesse, why did you choose the school originally? And in which ways is the school what you expected? And which ways is it not?
The original choice of the school, and it was partly somewhat COVID pandemic oriented, right? Was we're a Toronto-based family, and looking for an opportunity at mid-teenage or late teenage years to get some independence and be removed from the city and in somewhere that's serene and welcoming, to use Calvin's words, just culturally had the right values that aligned with us as a family. I'm a former boarding school student from when I was a boy in England. And so I appreciate the fact that RNS has an IB program. And that was a big motivator when thinking about boarding schools for Sam and where would be a great fit, right? And actually, most importantly for us, it's our son who chose the school. I did happen to know the head of admissions, and I did happen to sort of have some contacts in New Brunswick and be reassured about the nature of the school. But really, he chose it. And maybe for some parents, then this might be useful, Terry, as context, right? When thinking about boarding schools, and boarding/day schools, but for those with a boarding need and desire, right? There's a relative affordability aspect as well. That was also good for us as younger parents, let's say, right? And that's another benefit that RNS provides versus, let's say, some of the somewhat elite and occasionally pretentious schools in the Greater Toronto, Ontario area.
So in which ways was it not what you expected?
It was more inclusive and diverse than I expected.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, that's the biggest surprise. I suppose that's a bit of stereotyping of me growing up in Canada and not living out east and stuff and not understanding, but just the diversity of the student body, the number from Latin America and Asia, so the mix of students. And I thought the other big thing for me was the size of the school. You wouldn't have expected the breadth of both activities and just physical campus. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it was, we picked RNS sight unseen, right? We didn't get the chance during early COVID to go visit the campus. You weren't allowed, right? And so when we got the opportunity, as soon as we could, to go visit our son there, the beauty of the place, the size of it, right? For a school with only a few hundred people, was also surprising. I was like, wow, this is like a US liberal arts school. But just a few miles outside of St. John. This is pretty amazing. This boy's lucky.
And there's no traffic too. That's what I like.
Yeah, but there's no traffic. That's true.
As in vehicular traffic, not people traffic.
Yeah.
So what is the biggest impact you would say the school has had on your son, Sam?
I think it's had a transformative impact on Sam's maturation as a young man.
Mm-hmm.
I think when he arrived at RNS at 16 years old, his sense of self-confidence, his ability to interact and relate to others, his ability to exercise some self-restraint, humility. There were lots of opportunities for Sam to develop as a person within a community that was tight-knit and that has little patience for, let's just say, meanness, or right, that insists on a collaborative, warm culture, and it's helped Sam develop. And I'll just use a quick anecdote. When we were out in New Brunswick a few weeks ago to see Sam's chapel speech, we didn't inform the speech at all, and it was amazing how self-reflective and self-aware Sam has become about how the school has contributed to him growing up as a person and becoming a much better young man. So he did himself proud, but I think the school's had a huge impact on his character, and on his confidence in who he is.
Calvin, I'm gonna jump over to you now. I'm curious how you felt about your chapel speech, and were you nervous about it, and how was that experience?
The chapel speech was an awesome experience, I think. I think I watched mine not too long ago, but I talked about work ethic, and it was a really good reflective exercise, I thought. Just working with your advisor and working through what you're actually going to say in that chapel speech, and then presenting in front of 200 people, that's really stepping outside your comfort zone. So I really appreciated the challenge now, but probably didn't really appreciate it back then.
It's funny how that works.
Yeah.
So Jesse, what does Sam have to say about the school?
I think it depends on the week, right? And on whether he's gotten himself in a little bit of trouble or not. But basically, I think what Sam would say is it's challenging, it's hard work, right? It's forced him into sort of a discipline and a rigor around, taking the academic part of school seriously. He'd say it's the people there, like the friends he's made, are great guys. I mean, many of them are going to the same university together, right?
Yeah.
So I think he's developed, like Calvin was saying, strong friendships that I anticipate will last him a long time. So he'll say it's a great place to make friends. And I think what Sam would say is there's lots of opportunity to be a leader. And Calvin was referring to leadership, and the way Sam sometimes takes it on is how he engages younger students at the school. And I think that's, in a tight-knit, not overly populated community, having the grade 11s or 12s, the older boys and girls or young men and women, looking after and getting involved with the younger kids is a great opportunity to demonstrate, people leadership, and almost like big brother, big sister kind of leadership. And he'd speak really warmly about some of the younger students there.
I've noticed that as well. And what I also think is a wonderful outcome of that is the confidence and enthusiasm that the younger students have. So when we have a prospective student or a new student visiting campus for like a half day or a day, and they go to classes, we assign them a couple of their peers, or to be their peers, as their guides for the day. And they're so amazing at it, and mature and enthusiastic and thorough. And so leadership really starts right at that very young age. And I think it is coming from those kind of mentorship relationships between the older and the younger students.
Yeah.
So here's your question that is of a similar silly nature. If the school were to be represented as a single person, what would its personality be like? And again, in only 3 words.
Authentic, unpretentious, determined.
Wonderful. We're getting some good words from that exercise from you, Luke. So Jesse, in summing up, how would you describe the values of the school and the values of the families in the school community?
Well, there's the values that the school will put on paper, but I'd say the school has, and that goes back to those words I just used. There's a value I'd say the school has on character, and as part of that on decency and goodness too, right? There's a value on inclusivity. There's a value on what I would characterize almost as Renaissance kind of person values, meaning, encouraging young people to not only follow passions in athletics, but follow passions in academics, contribute, as Calvin was saying, to the welfare and the benefit of the community, and have a social conscience, to take up arts and music. My sons have been involved in robotics and Lego things, in pure fun stuff that is less structured, but just even and within each of those areas, really to encourage. Just to take athletics as an example, like you can do crew, you can do golf, you can do right. It doesn't need to just be hockey rugby or soccer. There's a broad range of opportunities based on the passions of those young people, and the school is terrific at encouraging it. So long-winded answer, but I'd say inclusive, Renaissanceman, character, decency.
Thank you so much. Calvin, do you have any final things you'd like to say before we sign off today?
No, I mean, it was great to meet you, Jesse, and I'm very happy that you're sending another kid there, and Sam had a great experience at the school, and potentially meeting him at future alumni events will be a good reminder, and see if I can make that connection.
Yeah, a pleasure to meet you too, Calvin. I think it's interesting what you do and what I do career-wise. Sounds like it's not all that
Yeah, that's right.
unrelated. But anyway, yeah. And I thought, by the way, Trey, you didn't ask me the one thing that I would ask for the school, right? But if there was one thing that I could suggest, right, and just leave you with this, I understand that it's a function of priorities and resources, but another language, as part of the IB program, Sam's able to do French and English, but he wasn't able to do, let's say, French, English, and Spanish, or French, English, and Mandarin. And having another language might be really helpful for students who aspire to go to university in Europe.
Well noted. I will pass that along to our curriculum developers and academic lead. We do offer some Spanish, but as you know, it's not quite as robust as the French program.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just because of scheduling. You can't do like an HL and an S. Like there's trade-offs, and it's totally understood. But that would be the one thing that I think could make that program even better. That's
wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you both for being here and answering my questions. And I look forward to seeing you at reunion weekends and alumni and parent events. And I hope that you proudly spread the word about Rothesay Netherwood School for your friends and families, children.